Hey guys, welcome back to TV Movie Mistress Podcast. Thank you for joining. If this is your first time, welcome. Sending you the biggest of hugs. I hope you like what you hear. I am here today to talk about the latest Chinese BL drama that I have watched titled Double Helix. It is my jam in the fact that it is in the genre of complicated love stories, toxic romance, and a lot more. If you are a returner, you already know by now, I am here for the complicated human relationships, and sometimes toxicity is a big part of human relationships when people don't know themselves. But outside of that, Double Helix is a series that, because of its toxicity, has gotten the community talking a bit. It's very much in the vein of Addicted, where look, I understand sometimes it is hard to separate real life from fiction. I have sort of reached my limit when it comes to toxicity, when it comes to Interview the Vampire and the introduction of fucking your mom. Like, for me, that's where fiction kind of paused. So I understand for others if just like a relationship based on all of the red flags is not their jam. Obviously, this podcast review is not for you. For those of it that it is for, get snuggly, wuggly, we're gonna have fun. So some folks see this Double Helix is a story about first love, heartbreak, and second chances, and other folks sort of see it as run as fast as you can, unhealthy dynamics, emotional manipulation, unconsentful relationships and doing. But yeah, it's all of that and more, right? And Double Helix synopsis, pulling this straight from my drama list. Thank God that my drama list exists, but we'll talk about why I feel like that another time. But Double Helix spans decades. It tells the story of Cheng Yi Chen and Lu Feng, whose story starts in high school, but more actually in college. They're two opposite. One is very much like a straight masculine jock, and the other is sort of a nerd. But their rivalry and friendship slowly deepened into something far more fragile, forbidden, and profound. Navigating the blurred lines, the two best friends enter into a budding romance while at university, only to be torn apart abruptly by familial expectations and societal judgment. So, just to even put that into more of a summary, essentially you've got Lu Feng, who has known Cheng Yi Chen from high school, but in college they end up becoming roommates, and as they are roommates in college, their relationship becomes something more. Cheng Yi Chen is a nerd. He's just like, Lu Feng is bullying me, but for Lu Feng it is something more of an obsession, a love at first sight, all of that. And throughout college, they end up entering into a romantic relationship. But again, because of familial expectations and societal judgment, it ends up going sideways and starts the first of their forced separations. Lu Feng is sent to America by his family to be apart from Yi Chen. Yi Chen, because of the societal shame, is forced to transfer schools and build a new life that does not include Lu Feng. During this time apart, Yi Chen kind of feels like Lu Feng has completely forgotten him, like the love was just on his part, while for Lu Feng, he's essentially held captives by his family. His passport is taken. He has no rights, no ability, nothing to go back to China and speak with speak with Yi Chen. All his letters are returned. So with no idea of what's happening, this love, this deep love they felt for each other in college kind of entraps them in this memory that neither of them can kind of escape. And then we flash forward to post college where they end up reuniting. Lu Feng has now been allowed to come back to China by his family by entering into a heteronormative marriage with another woman, and he uses this opportunity to find his way back to Yi Chen. At this point, Yi Chen has sort of assumed, look, he's moved on. What I thought we felt, he didn't really feel, and he's kind of like, I've moved on as well. So they reunite, years pass, and eventually they're kind of able to move past what separated them. Unfortunately, even as they now reunite in love, family shenanigans cause another set of issues in this new timeline. And Lu Feng, in the face of all of that, is more than willing to give it all up because he loves Yi Chen that much. Yi Chen, meanwhile, comes from a lower class family. He's not as rich as Lu Feng, and his families are very traditional in the sense that they expect him to carry on the family name. They're very, like, shocked. I mean, it's pretty much the same as Lu Feng's father, but, like, Lu Feng don't give a fuck. Lu Feng is like, I love that boy. That's my man. He's my forever man. Fuck family. And Yi Chen, unfortunately, buckles under the weight of family pressure. His dad dies. His mom later on gets sick, and all of these things cause the weight of their love to essentially buckle, and Yi Chen is forced to abandon Lu Feng a second time. And that, for me, I'm going to be honest, at that point for me, Yi Chen was the bad guy. Because I was like, look, Lu Feng is willing. This is a rich boy who is willing to give up everything to be with you. And Yi Chen, unfortunately, and I might be wrong in this, but I feel like Yi Chen expects that whatever he does, it's always going to be forgivable by Lu Feng because Lu Feng kind of loves him. And we see that play out time and time again, where to the point I'm kind of like, look, Yi Chen, you have now come back like a third time. You cannot expect this instant love and forgiveness from Lu Feng. Unfortunately, this is where Lu Feng is a red flag. Look, Lu Feng was a red flag even before the family stuff. He's very, like, forceful, grabful, all of that. He even in his love, he is very a lot. So I'm absolutely going to be clear about that. And when Yi Chen leaves Lu Feng again, he ends up marrying a woman for societal reasons, and this kind of breaks Lu Feng. So when Yi Chen comes back, Lu Feng is like, I don't care, I barely know you. Of course, it's that trope where he just pretends he doesn't care, and he ends up kidnapping Yi Chen. Because you know how when you don't care about someone, you kidnap them and have your way with them for weeks and weeks on end to break them because you're hurt and you don't know how to communicate. So again, both sides, Lu Feng is the worst, yes, but both sides have their moments and motivations and pain guiding the decisions that they make. And I will say what makes this a show better than the norm is the way it resolves the issues its main characters find it, and they resolve it in bringing reality in. I think for a lot of stories like this that are born out of fan fiction, life we often don't realize the bigger part of mental instability in the reality of some of our leads. And I like how this show resolves it by bringing in the mental issues that Lu Feng suffers. He's essentially lived a life of just pain, disappointment, rejection, and finds this small glimmer of hope and love with Yi Chen, but Yi Chen abandons him for his family. So this life he's lived creates this mental instability within Lu Feng that when the show kind of introduces his bipolar disorder, it does a really good job in sort of making the emotional scenes have weight to it. And I really did like that, because even though this is love, it's toxic love, it's heartbreaking, it's unhealthy, at the end of the day, the idea that there is a mental issue with one of the leads doesn't disregard that love. And I think I like how the show really handles that. The love is the love, the trauma is the trauma. They both fit, but there's also a resolution to it all. And it does a very good job in that sense with the idea of love versus obsession. And again, this is not like a cookie cutter red flag toxic romance. It's messy, it's frustrating, it's very emotional, and sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, you watching, you're like, yeah, this is nothing but possessiveness. Is there love in it? But throughout time, through the skips, scares, whatever, you're able, and I think this is honestly thanks to the actors, they're able to show the humanity within the toxic love of each character. They're able to show how they were raised, the families they come from, their upbringing, and and how that influences them in their day to day. And we, as the audience, we kind of have to think, what exactly are we rooting for here? Are we rooting for this relationship because this is true love? Are we rooting for this relationship because Yi Chen and Lu Feng love each other? Because it's compelling, because it's done well, or just like, why are we rooting for it? Like, it's red flag, but we just don't root for it because it's red flag. So I think it brings up internally a lot of the complexities from these characters to the audience. And that's why I think this is a show that worked really well for me. Like, again, I really like the chemistry between the leads. I think it is well acted. I like the emotional peaks of each lifespan they're in, when they're in high school, when they're in college, post-college, dealing with mental illness, becoming adults, lost life, all of that. The idea and the themes of longing, of unfinished love, of needing a resolution and an answer. And even when you get to the point of realizing love, how do you then deal with the idea that there's now a mental illness impacting that love you have for the other person? So yeah, I really think this was well done. Even when there are times where I might not like one character over the other, that to me showed that the story was working even more, because I was bouncing back from, well, he's right, well, no, he's right, well, no, I hate both of you, or I love both of you, where is this going? And that for me is how you can tell storytelling is being done right, when there is conflict from the viewer as to what it is we're watching. What didn't work well for me? Again, I wouldn't say not. Okay. this is one thing that didn't work well for me, and that's just to the show being good. The younger brother, Yi Chen's younger brother, and sort of the side plot that Yi Chen's younger brother was also gay, but sort of the whole crux of the show was on his parents because he's the oldest, sort of being like, no, you have to be straight. And the younger brother, who is also in like a gay relationship, forcing that on Yi Chen. I did not like that. But again, I think that's where some of those character decisions help make the entire story and the emotional conflict work well. So when I say it doesn't work well for me, it does work well, in fact, for the story. Let me see, what else do I want to mention? I really, really like this. I think it was well done, well produced, well executed. I like the sets, I like the scenes, I like the costuming, I like the actors, the directors. And I just think this is a drama that was really well done, even with the idea of, it being a red flag toxic stories. I think it gives each of the characters agency, so it's not that Lu Feng is just out here overwhelming Yi Chen in everything that they do. You might like this, you might not. Please let me know. I would kind of like to know where other people fall when it comes to this show. If you hate it, why do you hate it? What is irredeemable for you about it? Or what you enjoy most about it. But altogether, I like it like I like many complicated red flag shows like this, is that it forces you as the viewer to think about pain, accountability, trauma, and whether love is actually enough to overcome years of pain. I hate the idea that like true love overcomes all types of trauma and pain. I don't believe it does. But when it does and it works well, I'm here for it. And when there are dramas that fulfill that, I'm here for it. I think those are really good dramas. So for you guys out there, what I would like to hear, were you team Lu Feng or were you team Yi Chen? Even though Yi Chen was out here playing sometimes. Did you want them to end up together? Did you not? Did the ending satisfy you guys? I will say how the show portrayed Lu Feng dealing with his bipolar disorder, how he came back and he was like, that scene where he tells Yi Chen, like, I was so excited to come and see you, but I don't even remember what happy is. Like, I've been one thing for so long, I don't know what me reflecting emotion is. And that broke me, but also was so well done. I really loved it. I think it was well done. But let me know, did the ending satisfy you? Would you have liked something different? Do you think this ended up becoming a love story or a tragedy? And what would you rate Double Helix out of 10? Let me know in the comments. Feel free also. You can send in your feedback to tvmoviemistress@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave a like. And just most importantly, please let me know what you think about the show that I absolutely loved and enjoyed and thought landed the plane. I think it's the plane, you don't land the boat. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so very much for listening, and we'll do it again soon. Bye.